What's up, guys? Welcome back to DeeterPlays. I'm going to show you how to get the Antlers of Honor here in Roblox. This is part of the RB Battles event, and you might actually be one of the first 10,000 people to get it as a part of this and get the gold Antlers of Honor, but this is really hard, guys. It's going to take some time, a little bit of a pain. So I'm going to show you here, before all the robots start attacking, there's all these little spots here where we're going to use the Sword of Truth later on. So I just wanted to show you these spots here. First of all, so right here, see this little side of the building here in the middle? Like, so this is one spot that you want to pay attention to. We're going to pull out our sword, the blue sword, later, and we're going to look at some of these details and figure it out. So right here in front of the podium, this is a spot where we're going to pull the sword out, and it's going to show us kind of some images. It's going to show us DJ, Russo, Sabrina, and then pictures of swords. So we're going to have to go through and eventually reveal a bunch of things on the wall. So I'm going to have my code. You guys are going to have your code. It's going to be completely different. This is local. It's different for each person. So if you go in a different server, it's still going to be the same in different servers for you, but each individual person has a different code that they have to figure out. So my code is not going to work for you. Creek's code's not going to work for you. Connor's code's not going to work for you. Like everybody else's code is not going to work for you. You're going to have to figure it out on your own. So there's one over there. I'm basically at this point showing you all the different spots where you're going to be able to reveal the codes. So in the back here in the spleef, that is one spot. We just showed the badge room. So the badge room is a place where you're going to reveal some of these codes as well. So I'm just going over the details of this most difficult part here for you, because I think this is honestly the most challenging part as far as moving forward for most people. So if we come up here to the lobby obby, we're going to look back here. There is going to be a little spot back here against this wall. That's another little spot where we're going to reveal part of the code. So at this point, we don't have bots chasing us, so it's a little easy, but there's going to be some very relentless bots chasing after us. So right here in this room, right there up against the wall, they're going to find part of the code over there. I'm showing you again, guys, all of these spots that I'm kind of indicating to you. You're going to have to come in here later, and there's going to be a bunch of bots, and I'm going to try to save you some time so that you guys don't have to die so many times with those bots kind of going after you. So there's one right up here against this wall. You're going to find another one of those codes right over there, and we're going to show you kind of where these codes are and how to decipher them. So don't worry, we're going to give you guys more information on this. We're just at this point showing you some of the main spots where you're going to find the codes. So here on the other side, you're going to find a code over here. Those bots, once they start going after you, sometimes they shoot through the walls. Sometimes they follow you into certain areas where they shouldn't. So it's not really fair, and it doesn't really always work every time. So you're going to have to get good at the initial part where you're going to fight all those little hands. So that's going to be a part of that whole situation over there. But basically what we have, once you know all those little spots and once you know where to go, and in order to do this, you have to make sure you've got the swords, you've charged them up, you've put them in the shrine, and you've got the wings. I'm going to put a link in the description on the videos to show you guys how to do that. So you won't be able to do this unless you're wearing the wings as well. So you got to make sure you're wearing the wings, the winner's wings, otherwise you won't be able to even go to this point. But you're going to go to teleport, and the first challenge here is you're going to go up against these little hands that are going to shoot at you. So I recommend just hold down, I think it's the right click button on the PC, and if you're on Xbox, it's the right trigger button. But basically find the trigger button and use that button to fire at these little hands. So basically the purple hand and the blue hands take turns. You're going to learn the pattern. It's not really too difficult. First time you encounter it, it is a little bit tricky, but once you learn the pattern, it's pretty easy, and you're also going to go through this whole part many times. So basically, so the blue hand's going to attack you. You get away from those little things. The red hand, it either does a two laser thing or a single laser thing. You're going to go through this, guys. As a part of this, you're going to go through this little battle with the hands many times, because every time you die, you have to start over from the beginning, and you have to start this whole thing. So once you crash, though, you want to go and grab these swords. You got to grab the Sword of Agility, the Sword of Healing, and the Sword of Truth. So the Sword of Truth is what we're going to have to worry about right now. And also Agility. So we've got these bots chasing after us, and the Sword of Agility is kind of the only way to get around so that you don't die from them. And they hit you every time. But this little spot right here, you see DJ, Russo, Sabrina, swords. So that's the order that we need to find the items. So basically around the map, we're going to find different pictures of the different hosts. And each picture is going to come with a set of symbols next to it. If you need to revive yourself, as you can see right here, go back and forth between the Sword of Agility and the Sword of Healing. So Sword of Healing, swipe once, and then back to Agility, Sword of Healing, swipe once. So right here, we've got 2 equal signs there for Sabrina. So we're going to write that down, guys. You want to go write that down, get notepad, get a set of things that you write down for Sabrina, set of things that you write down for DJ, set of things that you write down for Russo, and a set of things that you write down for the swords. So here in the spleef area, we're going to use the Sword of Truth, and eventually, once it comes out, it will reveal this. So this is a DJ thing. So my symbols are one way. Your symbols are going to be completely different, guys. So what works for me and the order that works for me and how the symbols are revealed is not going to be the same as how it works for you. So basically all these different rooms that you can go into are going to reveal something on the wall. Like over here, you've got this purple sword and it reveals something on the wall. If you need to go back there, you know, go back there. You might die. You might have to kill those hands again. I'm just saying, like, that's just like a part of this whole thing. It's very difficult. So just make sure you're going back and forth between the Agility and the Sword of Healing. And the Sword of Healing is going to bring your life back. And you're going to have to remember this as a part of the obby later, because there's an obby with a bunch of lasers. And in order to get through that, basically the key is to keep going back and forth. But over here on the wall, you can see we've got another little symbol. We've got the greater, the less than symbol, and then the up arrow symbol. So each of these guys, again, I know this is super complicated, but I'm trying to make this part as simple as possible to describe to you. Each one is going to give you symbols, and each one has like 1 or 2 or 3 symbols. Like this one right here, we've got the 1 bracket and then the other bracket, and that is for Russo. It doesn't matter the looks that they're making on their faces, but we're going to look at those symbols and how those correspond to the alphabet. So this right here is just another spot that I'm going to show you where we can reveal another piece of the clue. So we've got a couple of Russos, a couple of Sabrinas, a couple of the swords, and really when it comes down to it, like, you only need 2 of each, 2 Sabrinas, 2 DJs, and 2 of the swords in order to figure it out, because basically what it comes down to is the letters that you're going to get are going to reveal like part of the letters for what you're going to get. So we've got DJ up there, we've got %, plus, and a little slash mark. So I know, guys, this is really long-winded. This is really, really difficult to get through this thing, but you can see we've revealed the part of the code up there. And so you want to write this stuff down. Like, you want to write what you get for DJ, what you get for Russo, what you get for Sabrina, and what you get for all of these right over here. We've got another sword up against the wall. We're going to look at this sword. We're going to have to heal ourselves because, again, these robots seem to go through the walls and be able to shoot us through the walls. So there's so much of this that is glitched. And again, honestly, like, this is honestly not really worth it. I'm showing you guys how to do this, but this is too much work. I don't know. If you guys really like antlers, that's cool, but it's not really worth it. Because I mean the antlers are cool, but this is just a lot of work, because if you die, you have to start all over from the very beginning. And I'm pretty sure I showed you guys this one over here by the elevator. Just so you know, like, there's a couple different sword things. There's another sword over down by the leaderboard. See behind those little vote things over here. So there's another little sign back behind this. So behind this also, I think you get blocked for a minute temporarily from those things shooting at you, because that will act as a shield, but not very long, because eventually those things will just go over the shield and they will ruin you. And then I think there's supposed to be another one over here, but I was having a hard time seeing this one, but there should be another one of the sword items over here on this side. But anyways, at this point, you should have 2 DJs, 2 Sabrinas, 2 Russos, 2 swords. That should be enough for you to basically figure out what the numbers and letters are to get to the next point. So basically, what you're gonna have to do is there's these games in a grid, and you have to press those in a certain order: 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, right here you can see I am just trying to escape and trying to survive because these little bots are trying to shoot through the walls here at me at this point. So just trying to revive, get that. But as you can see up here, let's see, we're gonna go over to the other side. Again, when you're moving through, use the sword of agility. Make sure you've got the green sword going. But a very challenging aspect of this is trying to get free and clear access to that board, because I've found sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. But right now, like, I've got this bot shooting through on this side, and then over on this side I've got the bot shooting through the walls as well. So if you've got bots shooting through the walls, I'm sorry, unfortunately there's just a lot of bugs. It's very glitched. You've got to use the sword of healing. This happens a lot of the ways through this whole thing. There's tons of bugs. You got to get through this. It's a lot of work, but in order to heal, just make sure you turn on the sword of healing. And this part's just gonna be a little bit tricky because you might have bots shooting through the walls at you. So anyways, once you do get free and clear, guys, this right here, this is the key. This is the alphabet: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way through Z. This is what the symbols mean. Okay, now I'm gonna put this in the description, and of course you guys can screenshot this, but every little symbol, as you can see when the symbols exist, that this is what the letters mean. So Russo, I've got this little symbol right here. These are the symbols I found around the map for Russo, and you can see if you unscramble those words, it's puzzle. So you can tell that that is the puzzle game. So Sabrina, I found hers. You can see BBUL. This is bubble. So you can see like there is a word that shows up unscrambled as a part of this. So DJs right here, you can see I've got GNTPCL. This one is spelling sprint. So you just use those words, and then we've got this one right here for the sword. I've got MOL, mole. So that is the mole game. So we've got spelling sprint 1, we got puzzle, bubble, and mole. So that's DJ, Russo, Sabrina, and the sword. So that's the order that it goes in, guys. So whatever DJ's is, whatever Russo's is, then Sabrina's, and then the sword. So for me, once we unscrambled all those digits that we found through here, the key is here in this part and also in the description. Guys, I'm going to put the key in there so you guys can use that. But you get these letters, and then once you get all of these things around the map and all these letters, you can unscramble them, and they will give you a word, just a single word that will give you an indication as to what game corresponds to that one. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. For me, I've got spelling sprint, puzzle, bubble, mole, and then when we go in here, if we want to go and enter these, if we can get to a safe place, finally, we enter the digits or the code over here. Like if you can get to a safe spot, we have to do number 1, spelling sprint. Now, if you do these in the wrong order, you're just gonna die and it's gonna kill you. So make sure you guys get all of the letters and all of the words, and you figure it out and you unscramble it. So it's a little tricky. You have to find the symbols on the wall. You have to decode the symbols into the letters, and then take those letters and unscramble them and figure out when that one word is unscrambled, which game it corresponds to. So for mine, I've got spelling sprint, the puzzle game, the bubble game, and the mole game. And then boom, you can see once you finally get your proper order, then this thing is going to open. Don't go in there too soon because you will just die as it's trying to transfer. But at this point, you guys are on your own when it comes to obbiness. Like, it's all obby battles at this point. We've got a boss battle. We've got some decoding of stuff that you've got to do, and then we've got a little obby. We've got actually a little quiz thing that we've got after the initial obby. So it's like a small obby, a small little quiz to test your knowledge, and then after the quiz to test your knowledge, a bunch of really, really harder obbies. So just some tips on these obbies and the quizzes. I'm going to go through 2 different sections of the quizzes and show you some of the answers and some of the ones that I've got. Basically, like, if you remember some stuff from RB battles, it's not too difficult. They aren't really hard questions. If you guys went through and you got all of the swords and you got all the things, then you'll remember. But you're going to go into this classroom and you're going to find this old man, Mr. Boringsworth, and he is going to give you all his little test. So just standing on the X, not going to do anything for you, but you got to go sit in his table, and he's going to give you a 5-question test, basically. So if you watch here, you can see some of the answers to the questions. Now, if you remember the maps and the game modes and things for like sort of healing and how you had to get all of these things, really a piece of cake, not too hard. You remember, like, it was alleys in trader mode, and then store in infection mode. You're going to go through these tests, and then after you go through these tests, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. We're going to speed through these just a little bit, and then after we speed through these, you're going to see we're going to move on to the next part. But the next part really comes down to obbies. Obbies are getting a little tricky here. But basically, if you answer all the questions correctly, he is going to judge your decisions and judge how you've done. And if you've done all the questions correctly, he will send you to the next part. And if you've done all the questions incorrectly, he will send you back to the very beginning. But remember, just like basically different parts of this whole event. If you remember how you got the swords, all the things that you entered, that will be pretty easy. There's some things about like old school, and I think it's like there's something about legs, and I think the answer is like Nick Bass. And there's a couple other answers that are like just a little bit tricky, but so going through these, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Mr. Boringsworth takes forever, but as you can see, like once he finishes, then you're good. So the key to this part, guys, is the Sword of Healing. So you can just walk through the lasers. It doesn't even matter. Like, don't even worry about the lasers. Like, get yourself to the next part. Like, use the Sword of Healing. Get through the lasers. Use the Sword of Healing. So if you just swap back and forth between agility and healing, swap the healing, and then swipe with the healing, like, you can keep powering yourself up and bring your life back. So don't worry about those lasers. You can get through those. Pretty simple, pretty easy, using the Sword of Healing to get through that. So that is the key to get through that part. But as you move on, like, there's a bunch of different sections. You're going to have to go up in different battles against different people as a part of the competition. You have to win all of those. You guys have to go through. There's another bigger obby towards the end. You have to keep climbing up the gears, climb through the gears, go back to the, like, and then there's an ice section where you have to have an ice ball chasing after you. Anyways, it's just all obbies at this point, and this is where you might pull your hair out, guys. Like, it's very challenging. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of work to get through this whole thing, and it's very difficult. So good luck to you guys after this point. Like, again, using that Sword of Agility, that is the key. Go back, or not agility, the Sword of Healing, at least through these laser parts, and keep going through there, and then eventually you'll get it. If you're one of the first 10,000, you will get the golden Antlers of Honor, and if not, you will just get the regular Antlers of Honor. But it is very tricky, guys. You got to go through this, and then go forward, and then climb up these things, and then swing across, see down there on the left side, and use double jumps. And there's another glitchy issue, is the double jumps don't always work. Sometimes I press the double jump, but it didn't always work for me. So I'm having a bit of a challenge getting through this part myself, but hopefully we'll get through it, and I will get it myself. Anyways, guys, hopefully that gets you through the most challenging part, which was the decoding to get to the main area after you take off from the spaceship. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and also maybe other people will help you there. If you're new here, I would love to have you subscribe and hit that notification bell, and thank you so much for watching. We will talk to you guys later.